this question a network is given and it is forced with a voltage source of 10 volt. When such a forcing happened, current drawn by this battery is 5 amperes, whereas the voltage at the other end of network is 5 volt. Okay. Now what is happening is that we are forcing from the port 2, that is terminal 2, and we have to find out this current I. Okay. But here instead of this battery we have a 2 ohm resistor. Okay. So first of all we will find out the Z parameters. Now Z parameters, V1 is equal to Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2, and V2 is equal to Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2. Okay. And here the convention is current flows, both the currents flows into the network, and voltages are applied here. Here since the terminal 2, that is the port 2 is open, so I0 that is I2 is 0. This I2 is 0 because the terminal is open. Okay. So we have V1 is equal to Z11 I1 because the terminal 2, that is the port 2 is open. So this both the terms cancel out, and V2 is given as Z21 I1. Okay. From this if you see, we know the value of V1 which is 10 volt and I1 is given as 5 amperes. So implies Z11 is equal to what? V1 by I1, which is nothing but 10 by 5, that is equal to 2. Similarly from this, V2 is equal to Z21 I1. Okay. So Z21 is nothing but V2 by I1. So Z21 is equal to V2 by I1. What is V2? It is 5 volt, and what is this thing? It is 5 ampere, that is 1 ohm. Okay. These are the values of Z11 and Z21 that we got here. So in the matrix, the values are 2 and 1. These are the unknown values, that is Z12 and Z22 are unknown values. Okay. Let us in this case we can take that the network is both symmetrical and reciprocal. So when you take that the network is symmetrical, this value will be equal to, that is Z11 will be equal to Z22. So this value will be 2 when you assume, when you take it as a symmetrical network, and when you take it as a reciprocal network, Z12 is equal to Z21. Okay. So these are the total Z parameters that we have. Now find out the other parameters. Okay. Now these are the Z parameters that I got from this initial circuit. Okay. These are the values that are found out from the given data, and these are the derived parameters basing on the conditions of symmetry and reciprocity. Okay. So as you can see, this corresponds to symmetry, whereas this corresponds to reciprocity. Now here in this, if you see, what is the value of V1? V1 is nothing but I into 2. Okay. So implies V1 is equal to 2I. You can see the top part, that is this terminal, this is positive with respect to this. That is the reason why current is flowing from top to bottom. So V1 is equal to 2I, and whereas I1 is equal to minus I, because the direction of I is given out of the network. As I initially told you, the convention is into the networks. So I1, this is the direction of I1, I1 is equal to minus I. Okay. So we have two things here, and similarly here we have I2, which flows into the network is 4 ampere, that is equal to I2. So these three things I will write it somewhere here. So V1 is equal to 2I, and whereas I1 is equal to minus I, and I2 is equal to 4 ampere. Okay. So substitute in this equation, V1 V2 is equal to Z11, the Z matrix, which is 2 1 1 2, 2 1 1 2 into I1 I2. What is I1? Minus I. What is I2? 4 ampere. So if you substitute, all we need to do is we have to calculate the value of I, okay, and here what is the value of V1? V1 is given as 2I, so V1 is nothing but 2I. So if you calculate, 2I is equal to minus 2I plus 4, okay. So 4I is equal to 4, I equal to 1 ampere. Okay, this is how you solve it. So finally the value of current, this I, is equal to 1 ampere. See, in here I have considered the parameters as Z parameters. If you take the parameters as ABCD parameters, you will still get the same result, okay, but their conditions of symmetry and reciprocity are different. Their conditions for symmetry is A equal to D, whereas conditions for reciprocity as AD minus BC is equal to 1. If you take these and solve it, still you will get the value of I as 1, okay. So in this question the value of I is 1 ampere.